we go. Probably can hear me now, huh? Okay, sorry, I didn't even put a mic on. Hopefully you can hear me now. How many times have I gone live and have not had any sound? Too many times, huh? Hey there, everybody. Sign language, I only know a couple things. I know work, and I love you, and something like that. I don't know. That's about all I got. Yeah, that's a good one. So today's the day we did our privileges. So Thursday is the start of our school week, and I put the kids on their privilege that they've earned. And I told you guys, if you were watching on the other video, that Claudia made E privilege, which is our highest privilege level. I was so proud of her. And so she got 2 get out of bed 15 tickets. 15 get out of bed for 15 minutes for any reason tickets. And of course, she used them as soon as I said, okay, guys, time for bed, which tonight's Naruto night. Normally we eat pizza and watch our Naruto show right when I get off work. And so that's what you guys are doing when I'm making the pizza. But Thomas has been working at the grocery store. Oh, well, thank you, Lana Rose. That's so kind of you. Thomas is working until 8 o'clock, and he really wants to see the new Narutos. And I can't bring myself to watch them without him. So we basically watch old Muppet Babies episodes from when I was a kid these days while we eat pizza. And then when Thomas gets home, they do the chores. And when Thomas gets home, we watch the other episode. So it ended up being an extra late night anyways. But as soon as I said it's time for bed, and it was like after like the latest bedtime they've had in a while. And then Claudia's like, here's my 2 tickets, Dad. So she gets to stay up an extra half hour. And she sat here on the bed and snuggled with me. It was super cute. Nephew who's deaf and mute. Oh, yep. That's really tough. I'm so sorry, Janet. Prayers for you and your family and dealing with the loss of your mom. That's very hard. Oh, so it's the dessert cups were good. They were a little too bready, and they were very round on the bottom, very round, and nice to eat for just chomping. But they didn't hold enough material, so your cat bit your chin. Well, that's a tough one. Good to see Eliza and Shannon. You guys are having too much fun in there. What size is your pizza pan? That's a good question. The big one's a 16-inch, and the little one is a 12-inch. So the smaller one is a medium Pizza Hut pan. So the large is bigger than any pizza they make. So very new to your channel. Good to see you, Sophia. Do you ever get to sleep in and about on weekends? Yes, I sleep in on Saturdays, and I enjoy the crud out of it. I look forward to it all week, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to do it this time. I need to get my taxes done, and I don't know when I'm going to do it. I either take time off of work to get it done. I bring them in. You know, we've done them ourselves with TurboTax or H&R Block on our computer every year, but you know, I'm a computer person, but I'm not a tax person. I don't know anything about it. I'm super nervous about it. So last year was the first year without Andrea, and so I just went in and they had them do them for me. And so it's I'm going to continue doing that because it scares the crap out of me. Oh, put a pan on top. That's not a bad idea. Thought about making an update ACE video, one from my dad's perspective. Yeah, I think someone has said that before. Katie's mom. I think that's a good idea. It's a good option. That's more of a niche thing, and I think there's not a lot of ACE videos at all anywhere. In fact, I think our videos are probably among the most viewed videos for ACE stuff. I love ACE's curriculum. I mean, there are things about it I don't like, but there's some absolute guaranteed winners things that they do that's different than every other curriculum, which I really like. Hey, you must love dogs. Yep, you got one. Hey, Diane. The small dessert was cute tonight. It was fun. I wanted to kind of make one that had the cups that didn't smash together. It disappoints me that I put them on the back of the muffin pans and they all grow together. What's wrong, baby girl? Come here. You lost your get out of bed free tickets? Oh, I just gave them to you today, sweet girl. Oh my goodness. I don't think anybody took them. They have your name on them. They can't even use them. I'm sure you'll find them. What do you want to do? You want to get out of bed? Yeah, I'm going to Eden. Well, because Eden's up on her using her tickets. Yeah, okay. Well, do you want to stay with Dad for a little bit till Eden's done with her thing? Okay. You still play games and watch shows with the older boys? Yep, I certainly do. Must have missed it, but I mentioned Grandma Kitty is sick. Yeah, she is. She has shingles. She's just about over it. In fact, I think she's pretty much over it, but she's still worried she might be contagious, so she's going to wait until next week to come back and keep working with the kids. So, what type of grapevines are on your porch? What did you make with them? Good question. So we have lots of kinds of grapes on our porch. We've got Edelweiss, Concord, Valiant, K. Gray, and we had some Bluebell, but they died. So I think those are the varieties that are there. And we do different things with them. What? She's scared in there without you. So she lost her get out of bed tickets that I just gave her. So I'm going to let her just snuggle with Dad a little bit. But when your time is up, I'm going to send her back to bed, okay? Only recently watched your past videos. So sorry for your loss. Oh, thank you, Sophia. Yeah, it sucks. Do you play Fortnite? No, not my kind of thing. Although, I take it back. It's totally my kind of thing. I just don't have the time. If I can't be really good at a game, I don't want to play it. And so there's actually a VR ripoff of Fortnite called Population 1. I played that a few times. That's pretty fun. I've been enjoying playing my VR a lot. Keep your tickets in your purse, Sophia, they said. It's nice to be done with the day. It's been a busy day today. Thursdays are always very busy. How long has she been sick? I don't know. Maybe a week, a little more. It was pretty painful. She wasn't sure what it was for a while there, but that's what it is. And she had the vaccine. She had chicken pox and the vaccine and the shingles vaccine, and she still got shingles. So that's pretty painful. But I think the worst of it's behind her. So, man, Josie, good to see you. Start those seeds. You were wondering if they were good in trays and see if they grow before doing all the work outside. I'm extremely positive that the seeds in the freezer downstairs will be fine. So they've been in the freezer. Seeds can last easily 5 to 10, 15 years in the freezer. So I'm pretty sure all the seeds in the freezer will be fine. It's the garlic bulbs that we have that's been hanging up there that I'd like to plant if I could. But the Commander from Magic the Gathering, yeah, absolutely. We're actually got I'll probably play some Commander. Actually, it's going to be a cube draft. One of the guys is putting together some a Magic night this Friday, which is nice because I haven't played Magic in a long time. So I'm assuming it's going to happen. I'll probably buy a box and see if I can convince them to do drafts, because that's my favorite format. If I buy everybody in, they'll probably play. If I bring the cards. Sit down with you. Made the Dutch oven bread for the first time yesterday. It's the most amazing bread. So happy to have the recipe. I know, right? And it's so easy. That bread is so simple. It takes you literally less than 3 minutes to put it all together. And then, only 4 ingredients, and it makes the best tasting bread ever. What would Sophia like to grow in the garden this year? Do you know what you'd like to grow, Sophia? What? Carrots? Well, we ordered some carrots. That's going to be neat. Did you ever see the carrots we grew that were like this fat? They were that fat, and they were about this big or so. Very large. Hey, Pam. Yep, we are on. Just decided it would be fun to do it. I haven't talked to you guys for a while. Oh, why don't you go back to bed now, sweet girl? I love you. Good night. Maybe Sophia lost her tickets at the store when she took her money out to pay. That's possible. But believe it or not, I like that they lose their tickets. I like that I give them something valuable and they lose them. It's not the first time they've lost tickets. And she's legitimately sad because they are valuable to her. In a lot of ways, money isn't really valuable to kids. It is because they can go buy toys and candy and stuff, so it's valuable when they're at the store. But the rest of the time, it's just not that valuable to them. But for whatever reason, these tickets, they're like gold to them. It's like I can get out of bed whenever I want for 15 minutes. They love them. And so they have to take care of them. And if they don't take care of them, they lose them. And the dad in me, the soft dad in me wants to say, oh, here's some more tickets, sweet girl. Here, just take these. But the good parent in me wants to say, oh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry you lost them. Maybe you'll find them. And I still got to snuggle with her a little while. So, I got a little bit of being merciful and a little bit of, letting her learn the lesson to take care of her things. So I enjoy that. She knows she can come to you and she's scared, needs comfort. She does. They definitely know. There's not a morning that goes by anymore that I am not smushed between one girl laying on top of the covers next to me, crunching me, and the other two squished in there, and then Hannah will be right next to me, and then Claudia will get jealous, and she'll come squeeze in between Hannah and me, and I'm just this pile of stuff here, and there's actually room on the other side of the bed, and it's so frustrating, but it's sweet at the same time, so it's nice not to have my bed lonely. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a late night live. Hey there, Airy Knight. They'll highlight a torch by their wall that glows the stars or the roof or walls. They've got a whole bunch of little night lights that they use in their bed, little remotes and stuff. Did Judah get a haircut? Judah cut his own hair. So, yep. Yeah, I'm going to still sleep with me sometime. There'll be a time when they won't sleep with me, and I'll be sad. So, I got to enjoy what I have. Internet is perfect. When at local shop, internet is bad. Except when you use Thomas, internet was perfect. Well, we don't do lives at Walmart, so that's all pre-recorded. Who made the? Oh, yes, who made the birthday list on the fridge? Well, somebody did. Do boys spend much time in their room? Do they hang out in their bunks a lot? They do. They do. That's where they go when they want to be alone. And it's nice for them to have a spot they can go to be alone. So Thomas will spend a lot of time in there. Judah, Justus. Asher doesn't spend a lot of alone time in his bed. But he, they all are there if they need him. Is there a reason why Asher takes care of Hannah more than Eden? I don't know what you mean. Every kid is free to take care or whatever. Asher's just got a special bond with Hannah. So Eden's none of the kids' responsibility is to take care of Hannah explicitly, but they are their brothers and sisters, and so they all look after her equally. But Asher's always been kind of a mom character to Hannah, always, even before Andrea died. So they've had a special relationship since the beginning. In fact, that's what Andrea said in the hospital, because that was when she stopped breastfeeding, because she couldn't breastfeed anymore because she wasn't there. And so she kept saying, I'm so glad that Hannah has Asher, because she was being without her mom for the first time. Kids need that security of dad's bed in the wee hours of the morning, and dad needs to know he's very much needed. Oh, well, yeah. Thank you. Working the heat coming out still works. Your defrost doesn't work, but your heat coming out still works. You're talking about your car or your, must be your car. Well, you probably have, it's probably just the ventilation. There's no difference to, it could be your vent, because whenever you defrost, the vent's on. Vent might be clogged with leaves or something. Look for my dad when I am sad or don't feel well. He's going to be 83 in June. That's awesome. I always imagine that I'll have that. Pop bed tents. They love them. Well, that's cool. That's just a great young man, big brother. You should be very proud. I am very proud. Yep, Asher's very helpful. They're all the kids are helpful in different ways. Just wondered is all. She definitely has a lot of protectors. She does. She does. They all love her very much and look after her, but she's had a special bond with Asher, just has. Hannah, Eden takes care of her a lot too. So they all look after her. But well, hey, Mama Gypsy's Caravan, good to see you. It's all I like his jacket. I just got that. So it's still down there in a bag. So I'm thinking maybe we'll do another package opening or something and open up a few more. I keep saying whether I'm going to do them or not do them. I haven't quite come to grips with that. Either way, it's down there. So that day you messaged me and asked if we got it, I got it that day. So haven't opened it yet. System like yours that is the son. A system like yours that is son learn to be providers and unselfish. Yep, that's good things to learn for darn sure. Who are we going to interview next? Well, who do you guys think? We did Solly, so we did a little boy. My gut says maybe I should do an older girl, maybe Eden, but we just did a birthday for Eden and she went shopping, so she's had some screen time lately, camera time, so I don't know. I'm thinking maybe one of the older boys, possibly. Want to balance it. Obviously, the little ones are going to be cute. The bigger kids are going to be more informative and interesting, probably. So I don't know. I can go back and forth. What was your opinion on the LDS Church? I took 2 elders 3 weeks ago. I keep talking to them, but don't really want to anymore. What should I do? Well, you should just tell them. I love talking to Mormons. They're when they come by, I always talk to them. I never send them away without talking. And You just tell them you don't want them to talk to you. You don't want them to come by anymore. They won't. Sometimes it's hard to do that, but what you use to homeschool the children? We use ACE. Really love ACE. In fact, if I wasn't using ACE, I couldn't still be homeschooling. Thomas, Claudia. Hey, Nina. She has a special relationship with all of her siblings. There's a very special one between her and Asher. Love how she says his name. Dad went to heaven when I was young, but that taught me how to love. I agree. My dad died when I was 10, and it shaped a lot of who I am. Asher for next interview. Yeah. Of all the ones that I'm concerned about being nervous and maybe not wanting to do it, Asher's the one that I would be concerned about that. He would do it if I asked him to, but I want to find out if that's something he really wants to do. All the rest of the ones would be embarrassed, but they wouldn't mind doing it. Asher's very shy, although he doesn't act like it sometimes. Becca has a good program. Kids will do mostly independent too. They're just a lot more expensive than ACE. Yeah, and Becca's hard. Becca's really hard, and as far as frustrating for the kids, as it is now, it's a difficult keeping them focused. That's my main difficulty, and if it was any harder, I think I wouldn't like it as much. That's what I did, but I feel like I have led them on, and I'm not a person to say no. I don't like confrontation. And I sound like Andrea. That's what Andrea would have said. Whenever she'd see the Mormons coming up, she'd run and hide, and she'd leave the door there for me to answer. Thinking that, didn't want him to feel pressured. Yeah, exactly. If you ask your casually, like in the van when driving to Walmart, I just want to feel it out. If he says he doesn't want to do it, I won't make him do it. You won't see an interview for Asher. But I suspect he'd be willing to do it, especially if all the other kids are doing it. So I just want to be sensitive to it. Use My Father's World right now. It's my first year. My girl's in kindergarten. I've never really used that one, so I can't say. Can't wait to interview Judah. Judah's actually very shy too. You see Judah, having fun in front of the camera and being all laughy and jokey, and that's how he is. That's how he is in real life. But he's still shy. But he'll get over it. He'll be able to get over it. Going to check out ACE. I think it's great. Probably the most wonderful thing I think is the little cartoons. Andrea credited the cartoons in the workbooks as one of the ways she turned out such a good person, and I think that's very powerful. I also like the way they set their own goals, check their own work. It's very easy on the mother. And I think if you want to, the best homeschooling method is the one that makes it easy for the mother. Because if the mother quits or can't do it, or doesn't want to do it, or falls apart, then that's the whole thing falls apart. So mother's the backbone of it. So you make it easier on the mother, and everybody wins. So that's why I think ACE is really good. Thomas seems very quiet to me. He is very quiet, but he's his dad's son. He would do it. And he would do it, and he would do it. He'd be embarrassed, just like I am. I am embarrassed right now. So you may not think that I'm very much an introvert. You may not think that, but it's absolutely true. I've trained myself to not be, or not appear to be. Kids get together and come up with questions for you, then have one of the older boys interview you. Yeah, we may do something like that. I also think that there's some fun in having the same questions asked of all of them. Those questions are meant to stimulate conversation. Some of them are more geared towards little kids saying cute things, and so I may change a couple. I don't know, but something about keeping the questions the same. You know the antics when you go shopping at Walmart. The boys are hysterical. It was fun. This last one was really hilarious. Eden and Justus are just so fun together. They're such best friends, and it just was so cute. Everyone should homeschool. Well, it's a good option for us, anyways. Well, thank you, Majestic Mabel. Alpha Omega, I've heard of them. Heard of them. Do you have to come out of your shell over the years? I had a job in sales when I first got married to Andrea. Actually, I was working at Arby's when I first got married. I was probably 20 years old, 21, 22, 21, somewhere in there. And I was working at Arby's, and of course, I can't support a family on Arby's, and so I went to get another job, and it was a job that paid real well, but it was sales and it was commission, and I was trained very well to do interviews. I always do very well in interviews, and so I was selling myself, and I can do it. I can do anything, and of course, I was offered the job, but I was super worried and nervous about it, and that's what forced me to come out of my shell. Ultimately, I became the #1 salesperson for like 3 or 4 years running, and it was enjoyable, and it trained me all I need to do for doing this stuff for my business. Customer service is my #1 asset when I'm doing my computer business. So with the snow, you haven't been taking bike rides. You plan on doing that once it's warmer again? Yeah, it's actually warm enough right now, but I can't get done with enough sunlight left. So maybe on the weekends or after the time changes, I may have more of an opportunity. Kids are in public school. They were doing online learning until they went back in person. Teachers have been amazing through everything. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of been homeschooling a little bit these days, huh? Have a faith-based education. That's really my whole point. I mean, we're Christians, and I understand not everybody is, and that's fine. That's what we do, and it's very, very important to us, and so that's one of the main draws. School systems eliminating pronouns. Well, I'm sure that was going to happen. Maybe my grands this weekend for a Father's Day gift for my son. Thanks for the idea. Oh, that's fun. If you want to look, Pam, I don't know if you ever saw Andrea's video. The very first video she ever made on this channel was a video of what she did for Father's Day, all asking the kids questions about their dad. And it's super cute, and I really love it. And it was a lot of work at the time. Very special. Stacy, you have assignments or projects like Reach type things. I'm not sure if you remember Reach type things, but they've got chemistry stuff and science stuff and all kinds of little experiments they do and little extracurricular activities you can do. Every now and then I'll see Solomon doing something that the pace tells him to do, the workbook, and it's a lot of fun. So there's a lot of fun things you can do in there. Retired teacher, taught over 30 years. Oh, neat. Yeah, my mom's a retired teacher, too. I'm very glad to have her. Homeschool didn't really exist in Australia until COVID struck. Well, I'm sure that's going to have an effect for sure. Anything you need for yourself? Not really. I mean, what I need is, yep, exactly. There's not much that I need, really. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed. The YouTube gives us a little bit of income over the top of my normal job, which I mean working less ends up being a little more comfortable than we were before. And it was a little tight before sometimes. And so I'm very glad that I don't have to worry so much about money. So we just ordered a very nice microscope for the kids with a little camera that can hook it up to the TV. We have a microscope that we got. Actually, we won it. Well, I think we won like a half price coupon or something at a homeschool conference for one of these microscopes. And we got it. And Asher's been going out and getting pond water out of her pond and looking at them. We've been finding amazing world of protozoans and all kinds of crustaceans inside of the water. And it's been a lot of fun seeing them. And the little kids have a hard time looking through the little lens. And even if they do, they don't. It's hard to see. And so we got this little thing for a camera. The darn camera costs more than the microscope. Can you believe that? But a very nice camera that can put it on our TV, which will be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to that. And we wouldn't have been able to just do that before and just buy something like that. And so it's very nice. Like art or PE with ACE, or is that something to be done separately from the curriculum? Like that's the thing with homeschooling, is that you always supplement it with whatever you want. You know, we put in Greek. I was teaching the kids Greek for a while because that's something that's important to me, and I want to be able to learn to read the Bible in its original language. And so I was teaching them those types of things. And so if you want to put in another thing, like in PE, we have Andrea made some. Actually, the kids were doing it yesterday. One of Andrea's early videos was a walk she took and Sundance, walking around with the camera, and then she speeds it up and plays it, and then the kids walk with it. And I saw them doing their little runs and walks with it, and so you can do whatever you want. So they do have lots of different ACE subjects that are extracurricular that you can add in as well. That's about wanting more privacy and quitting YouTube from time to time. I don't think the privacy is an issue because you guys only get to see what I let you see. So I don't think that's an issue, although it does take a lot of time. But at the same time, I think it's important. I mean, we ran this channel for 4 years with no monetization because that's not our goal. It's still not our goal. Without Andrea being here, things are more difficult, and so having a little bit of extra income is great. But that's not our main goal. It's a ministry, and it's also our basically edited home movies that we have of the kids. You can literally watch Claudia grow up from a baby, and I think that's awesome. And now they can see their mother, and someday I'll be dead. I'll be dead, and my kids will be dead, and our great grandkids or our descendants can watch the things we went through in our family and where their family came from. Imagine if you could watch right now a video of your great grandfather, raising his family in everyday life. That's the thing I want to see. I don't want to see so and so Mills the first was he worked in a sawmill and he cut wood and he worked in this area. I don't want to know that kind of garbage. I want to know their philosophy. I want to know the things they studied. I want to know how they went to church. I want to know what they did and how they lived. That's what I want to know. And so I think it's really neat that we have it. So all I like is new shoes. Well, the new shoes didn't fit. If you follow on the video, I should have went with my gut and got size 4. But Asher thought it said a size 1 when he looked inside the shoe. And so we have a pair of size 1 shoes that don't fit. And so we need to get another pair. I love the YouTube auto block. It catches so many awesome things. Oh, thank you, Kelly. We love you. Thanks for sharing your family with mine. We have so much fun with you. We have fun with you guys, too. You did say a size 4. Yeah, that was in my mind, size 4. And then I wasn't sure, so I called home and had him look inside of his shoe, and he says, it says size 1. I was like, oh, okay, well, size 1. But it was actually size 4. Little girls will fit the size 1s even if it's for playing outside. Yeah, I kind of may do that. It's such a hassle to take stuff back to Walmart, but I really should be doing it. So I could change it right across for the right size. So I'll probably do that. I think you're a great dad and stepmother. Wonderful man. Well, thank you. Is there a COVID restriction? Oh, there may be a COVID restriction. That would not surprise me. May not be able to return them. I've seen a bunch of signs like that at different places. Think I could? Maybe. Isn't that my Heritage app? Brings picture to life. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. Every time I've went digging for my ancestry, I haven't gotten very far, and I feel like I'm not supposed to know it. So I just want to go forward and leave a legacy and try not to worry about my heritage. If I get a chance to know, I will absolutely try to learn. But able to reuse AC each of the kids, you have to buy new for each kid. They revise a lot. One thing I like about Becca, they revise a lot, and a lot of kids it adds up. No, you're able to use the same score keys and everything for each kid. Every now and then, we will have one that's off. And it's usually only off on a couple problems. You can usually still make it work. But occasionally, I have to order a new pace. That's probably happened. It's happened, I think, twice this year. But that's frequent. That's more frequent than it ever happened before. We have paces that have been in there for years, and they still work just fine. So, Walmart doesn't have COVID restrictions. Oh, okay. Great. So continuing the channel legacy, you guys are such inspiration. Oh, I'm so glad, Mama Gypsies. You can keep the score keys, but need to buy paces for each kid. Yeah. Sometimes the score keys are different. They revise them occasionally. Bought a DNA kit. It's still in the box. Yeah, I thought about doing that, but I technologically understand what to do. It's not like you think. You don't look at DNA under a microscope and say, "Oh, look, I'm a Native American." It doesn't. That is not how it works. You compare DNA to somebody else. It's very good for like a paternity. It's a very fancy paternity test. And so what they do is they have a library of people that supposedly can prove that they are authentically whatever ethnicity. And they are compared versus that person, and that's how they're used to decide how related they are to them as what ethnicity they are. I saw a neat YouTube video where they did 12 of them and sent them to 12 different companies, and some of the major ones were correct, but all the rest of them, from 50% on down, they all disagree with each other. So I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it. Plus, it kind of creeps me out to just send my DNA to somebody. They're logging it in a computer and saving data. It just creeps me out. Only lady who I respect is a godly woman. She said, God will always give you the desires of your heart. What are your thoughts? I said, well, if it's his will. There's a verse that says something about that. But that's not how it really works. It's not like you can all have whatever you want. If I desire, this person dead, that doesn't mean God's going to kill that guy. Or if I desire the world to turn red and someone else desires the world to turn blue. I mean, I think it says if you ask according to his will, God always can say no. I mean, he didn't give me things aren't ideal how I like them in my life. I wouldn't have desired what's happening in my life. But I think at the end of the day, eternal life is pretty great. So we live for that. It took the entrance test. I'm European. I said I'm European. I'm German. Yep. Used to have a shoe size printable when our daughter was little. Now she wears the same size as me. So I have a bigger size than I do. Yeah, I got a bunch of those printouts. They're great. That's how I do it. Yep, they're wonderful. You guys all sending me messages that I was looking for the size 9 for like 5 minutes and say there is no size 9. Who on this earth designed women's clothing sizes? What the heck was wrong with them? That's ridiculous. You know what? Let's not make size 9. Yeah, that makes sense. Good grief. Stupid. Dumb. How do you handle mean people and mean comments? Does it bother you? Doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. You just handle them best you can. Get rid of them. Girls, not women's for that. Well, they were all right there. I was looking at all the tights, and there was whatever it was 4, 6, 8, 10. No, I don't know what it was. Whatever it was, it skipped 9. It was just like, what? Did I miss Bible study this week? No, we didn't have it, Kristen. I just wasn't feeling like doing it on Tuesday, so we'll have it again next week. Good question. How does the family respond or handle the mean comments? I'm pretty much the only one that sees the comments. So we just delete them. No one ever gets to see them but me. YouTuber seems as idols. Do you ever feel like that? No. How do you feel when you get recognized? It's only happened a few times. One time I was at a gas station pumping gas, and someone drove by real slow and said, "I love your channel." I'm like, I have no idea who that was, and it made me feel good. I enjoyed that. And a few times in Walmart, we've gotten stopped, or other people I'll be talking to about maybe for computer business or something, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I watch your channel," and so they know, but it's fun. Kids to go to youth group, yeah, we go every week. They love it. They really enjoy it. The bigger kids, not so much. I really enjoy because my kids are very adept with their Bible knowledge, and they have a lot of Bible trivia, and we know all the funny stories in the Bible, and obscure stories in the Bible, and obscure references that nobody else gets. And so they all I think it was last week. They all asked the kids, the big kids group. It's Asher and Judah's class. They asked them, if you could name yourself another name from the Bible, what would you choose? And one of the funniest name in the Bible is Meher Shalal Hashbaz. And so that's the one that everybody talks about. They're like, man, who would name their kid Meher Shalal Hashbaz? And so that's what Asher says. Yeah, I want to be named Meher Shalal Hashbaz. And the guy's like, he has this blank look. He's just like, I don't know what you're talking. What did you say? And it was really funny. And it made me so proud that my kids, are so knowledgeable, and they'll ask questions about the Bible sometimes, and my kids will know better than what the question asker knows, and it makes me really happy. Thought it was cute when he got recognized at the Ark. Oh, I forgot about that, Pam. Completely forgot. I gave examples since you assisted get what you want. It was making me laugh because she was very wise and more familiar with the Bible than me. I'm sure I didn't want to be disrespectful. Oh, I see. You get what you want. I'm sure they mean well. I've heard say there's a verse. There's a verse that says that. He will give you the desires of your heart, but it's not the same way. It doesn't. You can't just desire anything. And again, I think the desire of your heart and desire of your mind is a different thing a lot of times. So, you big YouTubers contact you, or do you talk with any of the YouTubers? I'm friends with Jay Morrill, and there's been a couple through the years. The Parsnips and Parsimony, Andrea talked with a lot. I haven't talked with her since I've never talked with her, really. But we haven't had any contact with her. There's a couple others that Andrea would talk to. Just So Trish was one Andrea really talked to a lot. I haven't really kept up with any of them, but I'll talk to Jay Morrill occasionally. Bartholomew was a favorite of mine because of Bart Simpson in the 90s. You need to be proud and a dad and be godly. Amen. Oh, thank you. Yep. A man designed that in the fashion industry. Oh, yeah? What type of church do you go to? Did your kids go to Awana? I'm familiar with Awana, but our kids have never gone to that. Did you find the verse? I don't have my phone with me, and I'm not even sure where it... Oh, yeah, I know where it is. It's not here right now. Look at that spiritual life, but it's hard for me to understand why there has to be so much pain and suffering in the world, especially when your child dies. That's a great question, Jeannie. The problem of evil is one of the biggest questions that goes back and forth to man, and I think it's important to ask and important to answer. But it only really is an issue if this life is all there is. You know, if you had to go through some painful aspect of existence to get to a better existence, it's not as much of a big deal. Like, death is the end of the world to us. But to God, it's not the end of the world. The problem of evil isn't a problem at all. Because if there is a God who created all life, all existence, then there's a good reason why he allows the things that he allows. And in fact, I think this world is a test. It's a test for the next life. And a test that doesn't have any problems doesn't reveal anything. So I believe that the evil is the test. Living in a fallen world and how we deal with these things is why we're here. And ultimately, if eternal life is a thing, you're going to see them all again anyways. It's only to mortals that death is so disastrous. I don't know how. Been here just 5 minutes. Good to yeah, I've seen you here, Claudia. Passed a car accident recently. What's in the next life? Oh, I mean, I don't know that. I don't think we're supposed to know that. I think the most that we have about the next life is hidden from us, again, for a reason. You know, imagine if God came down right now. Oh, Dorcas. I think about Dorcas all the time. Absolutely. Dorcas. Oh, man. Dorcas. That's very unfortunate. Desire yourself in the Lord, and he will give the desires of his heart. Absolutely. That's the verse in Psalms. Absolutely. But, yeah, I think if God came down right now and just did a bunch of miracles right in front of your face and let you look at him under a microscope and analyze everything and do bona fide miracles in front of you, everybody believe in him. But that doesn't require any faith. There's no trick to that. That's just believing in what you see. So the thing is, if there is an all-powerful being who created all this, you have to ask the question, what does an all-powerful being want or do for fun? And I think this is it. So he created this life as a test, and that those that follow him, you know, pass the test and go on to the next life, where we don't have to worry about those things. Yep, Mystic Soul. I think God gives us just enough information. There's a part where Paul is preaching on Mars Hill, and it says, from one man he made every nation of men. He did this so that some would reach out for him and perhaps find him, though he is not far from any one of us. And so I think that's one of the biggest, most powerful verses, in my opinion, in the Bible, because it talks about our ultimate purpose. He wants us to reach out and look for him, to try to find him best we can, though he's not very far from one of us. You know, there's lots of religions out there, lots of information, lots of stuff we don't know, can't know. And so I think it's the journey he wants us to go on, to reach out for him the best we can, however that looks. That's what he enjoys. And so here we are. When does your planting season start, Tom? It depends on who you talk to. I like to gamble. So I like to try to plant early and hope it doesn't frost and kill everything. So does that backfire and we lose those things? Yes, it does. But one of these days, I'm going to have the best corn in the whole world because I had plenty of growing time. So Hannah was so cute earlier with her teasing you and you giggling. Yeah, that was cute. She's super sweet. I don't like tests. Well, you know what happens if you fail the test, right? You have to repeat it. So you best learn your lessons. Not a lot test of life. I'm not talking reincarnation here. But time is a fleeting tool to find out who you are forevermore. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I think we're not meant to know all those things. I think he gives us just enough information, and then he pulls back just far enough that we wonder if he's really there and we doubt his existence. So we can see. You ever heard that saying? That character is who you are when nobody's looking? I think that's true. The person you are is who you are when nobody's looking. What happens if you turn a camera on you? Why do I feel nervous right now? Why is it if you were living your life and I just started recording you, you would be like, what are you doing? Stop recording me. Because it makes us nervous when people are watching us. And so he backs up enough that we don't even know if he's there all the time and waits to see what people we are and what we're going to be. How important is it that we understand the audience that Paul or etc. preached to? I think it's very important. Audience relevance is extremely important in the Bible and often overlooked. I agree with you, Kelly. And laughter smiles my heart. Oh, me does me too. Mile Monday at their school. Oh, man. Remember a log of the kids running around the block for PE with Andrea watching. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she would record them and time them, or record their times and see how fast they could do it. Cover her plants at night with a sheet if frost would come. That's what you're supposed to do. And I will try to consider actually doing that. We always think we're going to cover things up and then we don't. So, yep, exactly, Claudia. You got it. Better let other people believe you are a fool than open your mouth and prove them right. That's pretty true. Think he understands that I struggle to understand what I'm reading? Oh, yeah, for sure. In fact, there's plenty of verses that say, there's one, and Paul was preaching to people who didn't know, and he says, in the time of their ignorance, God winked. You know, God overlooks things. And Romans 14 teaches that it's not the same for everybody. A sin to one person may not be a sin to somebody else. That's something that Christians don't like to talk about. They want sin to be absolute. And so, but it all goes back to you do the best you can. Nobody's going to have all the right answers. Nobody's doctrine is going to be perfect. Nobody's going to understand everything in the Bible. I don't understand anything in the Bible. Beware of anybody who says they do, nor will they understand anything about God. Not everything's in the Bible. You know, I would argue that we don't even need the Bible to be a Christian. You know, I think it's Ephesians that says we're without excuse because of the evidence in his creation. So I think it's perfectly okay if you don't understand. Now, if you just say, I don't understand, screw it. I think that's different than trying to understand and not getting it. Not that you try to understand, but again, he wants us to reach out for him and try to find him. So laziness doesn't do that. What genetic condition did your brother have again? Do you remember him? Yeah, it's mucopolysaccharidosis is what he had. MPS. So Hurler syndrome is another way they called it. But yep, I remember him. He was a cute baby. He was a baby his whole life. He died when he was 12, but he was pretty much just a baby. Hope you're well tonight. I'm doing pretty good. I've been doing better a lot lately. Wish I lived closer to you guys. I had a cutie pie at the grocery tell me he liked me because I was kind and pretty. How do you know, there is a God? Oh, I think it's pretty obvious, in my opinion, even without the Bible. I think whatever the consciousness is, why you can have one man laying down next to another man who has no brain activity, yet his body's still breathing, his heart's still pumping, things are still working, and he can be brain dead. What's the difference between somebody who's brain dead and somebody who's not brain dead? And science will say, oh, there's a lack of electrical activity in his brain. Well, what the heck does that mean? How do you get electrical activity in your brain? Whatever consciousness is, it's unique. It's unique. It's different than the animals. We can question why we are and who we are. Just the miracle of consciousness is enough for me. But there's a whole bunch more. Matter doesn't come from non-matter. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It only changes from one form to another. Second law of thermodynamics. I think the existence of every matter piece that exists is proof of God. But it is what it is. Mark in your prayers. He had to go to the hospital. I'm so sorry, Claudia. I pray he recovers with whatever he's going through. You can wink more than once. God only winks once. God proves it to people. Will prove it more than once. Weeping more than once. That's true. That's your interview with Judah. It'll happen. You seem happier lately. That's true. I am happier lately. Yeah, don't forget to like, all that jazz. Like, comment, subscribe. It's all gratuitous, to just say cringy things like that. But it's true. If you ask for them, it happens. So, and those things do help our channel and help our family. So if you're not subscribed, I think something like 50% of people that watch our shopping videos aren't subscribed. And that's okay if you're not. But if you want to help us, you can certainly subscribe. It does help. Seem to have a glow on your face when you smile today, Tom. Do you have a new lady in your life? Well, you'll have to just guess and suspect. Love the kids' interviews. They are super fun. They are way fun to do. Someone had suggested that years ago, and we talked about it with Andrea doing it, and we just never did. And I was needing video ideas at the time. It was a perfect opportunity to try it. Someone said it, so. Mark has congestive heart failure and diabetes. He has a wound that's infected. Well, you guys are on the edge of your seat now. Well, I pray that he gets better soon. Diabetes is difficult to deal with. My stepdad has that. The less lives of the giveaway. You guys are silly. Oh, I think I'm sort of sharing. Sort of. The Becca program is very hard. Yes, it is. It's born dead at home. During a winter blizzard, God definitely put his power through my grandmother's hands to bring me back. Wow. I had no doubt. That's crazy. You guys are funny. Funny, funny. Well, I agree. If you keep it private, you're right. Yeah. Horrible. I'm not horrible. I had diabetes, and my wife changed my diet, and I stopped my diabetic medication almost 2 years now. Wow, that's amazing. I've heard a few people able to do that with diet. Well, thank you. Send me a message on Facebook, Claudia. I don't know if I can help you with that long distance. Sometimes you need extra access to the computer to do that. What do you think about reincarnation and psychics? Oh, that's a physics. That's an interesting combination. I think they're both garbage. That's just what I think. So you guys are funny. Past 100 years and 10 days. I definitely got my stubbornness and fight for life from her. That's awesome. Will we ever have time travel, or when we do go back to got the chance? No, we'll never have time travel. I love time travel movies. I love sci-fi, but I know it's just not possible. It's not possible. So now God can do whatever he wants, and I think God is probably outside of time, and I don't know how that works, but I don't think we'll ever have time travel. In order to have time travel, we would have to approach the speed of light. In order to approach the speed of light, your mass would have to approach zero. Now, when you die, imagine your soul probably has no mass. That's a question for later, I suppose. But fun question. When would you go back to if you had the chance? I'd like to go back. I think all the time about maybe when we die, if our spirits are weightless, so massless, which I assume they are. Thessalonians says flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. So that would mean that we would travel the speed of light and theoretically could go back in time. But I'd like to go back just to watch. If anything, we could go to watch. I'd like to go back and see, crucifixion of Jesus and see those heroes of the faith throughout the Bible stories. That wall you're leaning on is pretty. How'd you do that? Andrea made that. She hand painted it. New to your channel, loving it. Oh, welcome, Jerry Smith. What are the 3 hardest biblical principles to convince an atheist of? I think atheists, like a true atheist, I don't think they exist very much anymore. Most people, if you push them who are an atheist, are actually agnostic because you can't prove a negative. Most of them are willing to admit that these days. But, ultimately, I think that they don't want to believe in God. I think there's plenty of evidence. The Bible says that those people suppress the truth in unrighteousness. So they suppress it. They know that there's a God in their heart of hearts. They're just not willing to admit it. Now, consciously or not is another story, but still, all of us know the difference between right and wrong, good and evil. There's an argument called the transcendental argument for the existence of God. I think it very well proves the fact that without God we couldn't even think. So anyways, I don't want to get all about talking about God all the time. We have a lot of people who are atheists, and that's totally fine. You guys know I'm a Christian, and you know that I love you people that don't believe in God. I love you too. This is mostly, I can't separate, my faith from my life, and I'm not gonna. And so you guys put up with me, I think, well enough. And so I don't mean anything against you. Everybody makes their own decisions. So I, of course, being a Christian, it's funny. Penn is a staunch atheist, but he says he doesn't have any respect for somebody who doesn't proselytize. Because if you truly believe there is a God and a hell, then what kind of person would you be to not try to help people who are going to go there? So that's where I speak from. You can call me crazy and say I don't know what I'm talking about. That's totally fine. But I'm not going to not do anything. I once heard somebody describe some Christians as being able to read a book while a child drowns. And I think that's true cruelty and something like that. And that affected me. And I thought that's absolutely true. We bury our nose in our Bible, and meanwhile the rest of the world needs help, and we don't do anything. So don't take it personally that I don't try to beat you over the head with the Bible. I don't think anybody probably thinks that I do, but You might get sick of me talking too much about God stuff. Hang in there with me. I knew someone that didn't think one man could have created this world. Well, I don't think a man did. So I managed to catch a live. Well, I'm glad you could catch us, Patricia. Were you always a Christian? Yeah, I think I grew up as a Christian. And I can tell you a time in my life when I prayed the sinner's prayer and all that, but I don't know that that's the time I actually became a Christian. I think it has to become real for you at some point, and it became real for me, and I can't put my finger on when. Trace all their hands. We have moldings of all the kids' hands, all the babies' hands. Did I get Hannah done? I did, right? Did we do Hannah's hand? I think we did. I believe he died 4 years ago. I hope he accepted God in his heart before he died. Yeah, that was a shame. So. What time are we coming up on? 11:20? I'm probably going to wrap it up pretty soon, guys. I don't want to keep you up too late. I did do Hannah's hand. You need your sleep. At a college for Christian ministry, decided to change and go for video game development. Now he's a software developer. He sounds like my kind of guy. I've wanted my whole life. I've wanted the knowledge and the wisdom and the resources that a seminary could give, but I would never go to one. Or I wouldn't want a document. I wouldn't want to graduate. If I could audit all the classes and just sit in there and not ever get certified, I think the idea of having a piece of paper in your hand that says I am able to teach about about the Bible and about Christianity, I think is terrible. I think those types of things shouldn't exist. Man doesn't know anything. We should all be reaching out for God. What is the worst advice you've been given? Oh, man. I don't know. That's a very hard question. I can't tell you. I'd have to think about that. Do another live soon. I'm doing one right now. I'm going to do one tomorrow, I think. So I told my friend, I have a friend named Daniel Rogers, and he's a preacher, and he's a very good Christian man. I agree with this guy on Bible stuff, probably more than any preacher I can think of. And that's saying a lot because I don't agree with preachers very much. That doesn't mean they don't preach good sermons. Don't hear me wrong. But I have problems with a lot of them. And this guy's very young, and he's a new dad. He's got a new baby, and he's starting his life. He hasn't been married very long. And I talked to him at that conference we went to recently before Andrea died. And I talked to him a lot. And he's making his living preaching, and he's struggling financially. I think a little bit. I think it's hard. Making a living just off of the ministry, and so he's looking for other avenues. Anyways, he got a YouTube channel, but doesn't have enough subscribers to monetize. And so I said, well, how about I'll have you on a guest, and we'll talk and reminisce a little bit, and we can tell everybody to just go subscribe to his channel. So come in tomorrow night sometime, and I don't know when, and do that for us. That's as a favor to me. We get this guy to 1,000 subscribers so we can help provide for his family, and I think we totally should do that as well. Remain Tom about the MRI film about the brain. I don't know what you're talking about. Turn a lot of people away from God. I think that's true, Genie Zero. What Bible do you study? Study? That's a good way you enter study. I'm going to say a New American Standard Edition. The revised one is the one I quote unquote study. I'd rather study the Greek. But I like to read the New International Version, 1984 version. Just a document saying that you went to school to become a preacher. That's right, yep. What do you think will finally break the internet? Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's going to break. Good question. Do you recommend a 2000 HP computer? I want to start using my TV as my monitor. Old LCDs are at the moment. Eventually you get an LED TV. You can get a little USB to HDMI adapter pretty cheap if it has an HDMI adapter on it. Yeah, I think you should help us. You guys know that I very rarely plug somebody or advertise for them. I shared the Needy Homesteaders post because it touched my heart that I know where they're coming from and I want to help them. So I shared their post, and I'm going to help my friend Daniel Rogers get 1,000 subscribers. I feel like we can at least get that much from him. And so we'll do that. But it's very rare that I do that because I have to totally believe in something in order to recommend it. I am excited for springing ahead because I get to ride my bike later. Do you have gaming computers? We have two, and I don't know the difference. Yep, I have lots of gaming computers here, and it makes a difference for games. NIV 1984 is way better than the 2011. Oh man, the 2011 version is an embarrassment. An embarrassment. It's by far one of the worst translations, I think. It's not the worst, but one of them. But the 1984 one I think is very good. Can you post his link? Yeah. I mean, I'll post it right now. I mean, if you just want to gratuitously go do it and skip the the fun talking and all that stuff, but I'll link his channel here. We'll get some subscribers and be like, what happened? There he is. Oh my gosh, I'm not subscribed to him.
Hey everybody, my name is Dave.
Why am I not subscribed to him? Well, I'm going to solve that right now. All right, there's Daniel Rogers' channel. And he's a preterist like me, and he's got a lot of really great stuff. He's very young, but he's extremely gifted. He's a very great guy. I like him a lot. I like you guys too. That's the closest I can get. Yeah. You ever eaten fresh cheese curds? Oh yes, they're so wonderful. I thought they were so gross until I learned what they were. And as soon as I understood that's the rawest form of cheese, I was like, okay, I can do this. Unless they squeak in your mouth when you chew them, they're like, that's good cheese, squeaks. Well, thank you guys. He's in bed. What's going on? That'll be fun if we get a decent amount now. If you guys are watching this on the replay and you got to this point, just leave a comment below saying you subscribed to Daniel Rogers. I want to see how many people, because this is what? We are an hour and 15 minutes into this. Average YouTube retention time is very tiny. So it's very rare that people watch the whole darn thing. And some do, though. I was very surprised. I did that little thing on our shopping videos, or list video. If you made it to the end, let me know. And I had a surprising number of people to watch to the end. You know what I mean with the squeaky? Where it's just like, it's like you're chewing on styrofoam, maybe? I don't know what it is, but it's got a squeak. And I've now come to associate that little feeling with pure cheese. So he's I'm gonna message him when we get done here and see what happened to his channel. Well, you guys are so kind, and he'll be so grateful. This is an way for him to. I'm actually trying to help him start a computer business also. So I've talked to him on the phone and gave him ideas of how I do it. He's very knowledgeable about computers and understands quite a bit. And so I gave him a lot of tips on how I started my business. I want very much for him to be able to support his family. He's a great guy. And I can't say enough good things about him. And you guys know, have I ever mentioned a preacher on this channel? I don't think I ever have. And I'm really only telling you about him now because he's my friend. He's my friend, and we've had some really deep, great conversations about God and the Bible. And he's not afraid to follow the strings wherever they lead. And so I have a lot of respect for him. He's a very great guy. 319 people watching, only 162 thumbs up. Well, you can like this video too. But if you're going to do one or the other, go subscribe to Daniel Rogers. You guys can hold the like back if I'm going to only have you ask you to do one thing. Well, thumbs up to look at that. Thanks, guys. Oh, I do want to wrap it up before too long. It's getting late. Very squeaky when you chew. I love squeaky cheese. Oh my. Real cheese is white in color. Is it? Isn't cheddar cheese orange by natural? It's not dyed, is it? 16 more and he'll have 500. I've never heard of halloumi. There's a lot of work, but I like the thumbs up too. I like your humor, so and so. Yes, exactly. That's wonderful. So I hear about the death of the husband of Heather from the youngsters. Yeah, that's terrible. It is fun. I'll be so glad if we can get him up to 1,000. Yellow is dye. Milk is white. Well, isn't it have to do with which acid they use to trigger the? That's the difference in cheeses, right? Is a different acid, whether it's like goat stomach or rennet or all kinds of different things that you can trigger the cheese process with. I thought that I didn't realize that cheddar cheese was dyed. That's interesting. Is that true? Oh. Uh, it's true the yellow is colored. Oh man, I'm so disappointed. I guess that's how they get white cheddar, huh? That's just normal cheddar. Learn something new every day. You know pepperoni is dyed? Pepperoni is gray. Naturally. It's dyed red. That'll make you eat it more. I could care less. Alrighty, guys. Well, 11:30, a little after. I think I'm going to call it out. I appreciate you guys so much hanging out with me. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy talking with you guys. It's nice to be able to visit with people that are like-minded. And so if you haven't subscribed, heck, subscribe here. Subscribe over at Daniel Rogers. Give the video a like. Comment while you're at it. And we really, really love all you guys. You're our extended family, and you've been there with me through all kinds of things in my life, and I'm really grateful to have you guys. So we will appreciate it, and we'll see you later.